Okay, so good afternoon again. I am Bong Villatuya, your moderator for today, and welcome to the October 3 regular meeting of the Rotary Club of Makati. For our first stop, may I call on President Bing Matoto to call this meeting to order.
On behalf of the Rotary Club Makati, I'd like to call this meeting to order.
Thank you, President Bing. Next, I would like to call on PP Louis Aseoche for the invocation.
We kindly rise, please, for the invocation. Dear Lord, thank you again for the chance to commune with you again today. We start this month of the Holy Rosary with a prayer for peace amid the turmoil we all face both here and overseas in its literal sense. Create in our leaders a culture of transparency and of accountability, most especially. We ask you, Lord, that you enlighten those who hold the power of the purse, not to wield it to curry political favors, but to allot it for sectors needing assistance the most and for projects that would really create real and purposeful. Today, we also learn that social and digital should not be purveyors of false news or as tools for the revision of settled truths and historical. Bless our guest speaker today as she speaks on how our country's digital infrastructure can serve as a bridgeway to the region, the world in terms of bolstering economies and financial. In a special way, dear Lord, we ask you to bless the soul of our dearly departed Rick Librea, and that you look after his Annette and the rest of the family that Rick will leave behind. May they find the strength to carry on in his absence. Let us now pause and watch this memorial video as we say our prayer silently for past President Rick.
Come Saturday morning, I'm going away with my friend. We'll Saturday spend till the end of the day. Just I and my friend. We'll travel for miles in our Saturday smiles, and then we'll move on. But we'll remember long after Saturday's gone.
Upon him. All this we pray through the intercession of Mother Mary. Amen.
Please remain standing for the Philippine National Anthem and followed by the Rotary Club of Makati hymn.
Witness a history in our lifetime as we bring back to life what a true Rotarian should be. Service above self, unity in diversity, and inclusivity, all for one and one for all. This is our chance. This is our time to rise up and be the example of what humanity can achieve. Together, let's create hope in the world. So let us sing with one voice. the Philippine National Anthem.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
So you may now take your seats. Thank you. Next is the four-way test. So I enjoin every Rotarian here in the room to please repeat each of the tests with me. Okay? So number 1, is it the truth? Number 2, is it fair to all concerned? Number 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Number 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Ron, next is the acknowledgement of guests and the visiting Rotarians. So for our dignitaries, we have past District Governor Tony Kila. For our guests, we have the son of Rotarian Ayaya Galvez, Raf. Welcome, Raf. And another son of our Rotarians, Lance Bosch. We have past President Cory Navarro of the Rotary Club of Makati EDSA. She is the mother-in-law of our director, Neil Macashar. Welcome. So, for a welcome song, do we have okay. So,
My classmate Cory Navarro is
I
here.
ask the RC members to please rise pala, to welcome our guests.
Welcome, welcome.
Okay. Please be seated. Please be seated. Thank you. The next one is on club functions and committee announcements. Okay. So yeah, are there any do we have any birthday celebrants or anniversaries? Yeah, but yeah, sorry. Sorry. Okay, so for our birthday celebrators, birthday celebrants, no, for the Rotary Ants, we have Alexa Aboitiz, October 3 today. Tesha Garcia, no? Hey. Nancy C, October 7. Marla Calleja, October 10. Yay. For the wedding anniversaries, we have Butch and Crisel Medalla, October 7. June and Wilma Palafox, October 7. And Peter and Jenny Nang, October 8. So, P.P. Louie,
And Eddie Galvez, who will sing because you sing very well. Eddie, come here. Come here. Paano ko dito? Hindi. One.
thank you guys. Thank you very much. Okay, so do we have any club functions and committee announcements? Okay. Next stop is the classification talk uh, of one of our new members. No, please let's welcome Anton Cabrera.
Thank you. Well, it's a big honor to speak before you all. And it also is a big honor that I am the youngest Rotary Club member in Rotary Club of Makati. So I'm really happy. I really am. All right. So some, if not most, know me already. Well, that's my full name there already. But please, call me Anton. So my designation is the director of the company. And my main focus is human resource. But I'm also involved in business development. I chose human resource because I believe people are a resource. People are a foundation of what makes up a company and a society. So my industry there is already there, water services. But before I delve deeper, I want to make this an interactive one. Please participate. So I would like to ask, what is water? How about you, Port? That's valid. Yes, yo, that's correct. All right, next up. What is the purpose of water? Correct. Life. What else? Washing, drinking, many more. All right. So next question. What happens if there is no water? Well, I guess you know that everything would collapse because water is one of the basic building elements of life and of our livelihoods. So the big question is, how do we ensure that water is treated and how water is distributed? So that's where we come in. Ocean Eagle Philippines Inc., a water company based in the provinces and for the provinces. So we started back in 2016 with small beginnings, humble beginnings. And now we are expanding and we are looking forward to a bigger and better future for the provinces. Next, please. So we have three areas of focus or services: water treatment, water distribution, and our newest service, HDPE pipe production in the provinces. So let me delve deeper on our operations and our projects. So this is our very first subsidiary or company in the province, Tapas H2O Management Corporation. Well, I know it's no fancy name of a subsidiary, but it is very simple, straightforward, and it's also distinguishable by the province itself. So as you can see, my father had a contract signing with the mayor. You can see it there at the upper left, back in 2019. At first, it was very difficult because, well, like I said, difficult starts, difficult and challenging processes. But no matter what, we went through it, and now we are developed to serve more and more areas in this sector. Next, please. Next project or next subsidiary is Dulag H2O Management Corporation. So in here, the local district called us in to privatize and to manage their local water district. We are called and we are served, and we to serve the public there. And as you can see there, my father had a contract signing with the mayor. And as you can see there again, last month, we're still expanding to many areas of the sector. Next, please. Okay, so this is one of our upcoming subsidiaries. Still ongoing, but a lot of potential. And we hope to expand here so that we can cater to many more stakeholders and clients. Next, please. All right, so this time, it's not my father. It is now me doing the contract signing with the local mayors. And I'm happy that I am now learning the business development side of things. And as you can see there, a big map that there is a diameter, a circle. So let me tell you how we do it. So instead of using dumb meters, we use smart meters. So these smart meters are connected to the gateway. And the gateway is connected to Alibaba Cloud. So it's easier for us to measure data, maintain data, and also do our predictions. Please. So this is our newest service, HDPE pipe production. So before, we've been buying pipes from China. And honestly, it's been killing our funds. It's been killing our finances. So we thought, why not make our own HDPE pipe production? And so we did. It is difficult, costly, but we had to look for the right manpower. We had to look for the right resources. A lot of setbacks in the beginning. But just like before, we went through it, and now we have many clients, many stakeholders interested in our HDPE pipes. Next, please. So this is our biggest project, 150 MLD from Tapaz to Iloilo. It is a bigger future, a brighter one for everyone around us. But I don't want to delve into specifics here because I don't want to jinx it. I believe in actions, not words. And maybe in the future, I will tell more. Next, please. And now we're proud that we have our own website after so many years. We are ready to serve. We are ready to negotiate, to explore more options, not just in our areas, but many more out of our comfort zones. All right? So this was a small step for us, a small step that we took, but it's a big, one giant leap for all of our constituents, our stakeholders, for future beginnings, and more to future challenges, which will shape us. And that is all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anton, for your classification talk. Next, I give the floor to President Bing for his president's time.
Thank you very much, Bom. Good afternoon, fellow members and guests. And listening to Anton's presentation, I can see that the future of our club is in good hands. And we can certainly make use of a lot of Anton's experience and group because we have a lot of water projects, as you know. So it'll be interesting. We've got one project that Neil is working on right now in Zamboanga that's about to be launched. It'd be good to sit down and chat to see how we can improve that. Although that's a very simple deep well. No? And of course, Cesar here has this project of creating, I think, water out of air. So again, that's something that you probably need to understand. Maybe you can provide some comments on how to work out this arrangement. Anyway, I'm delighted to share with you the performance of our clusters. Although today seems to be, needs a bit of push. Cluster 1, led by the dynamic duo of Director VP Howie Calleja and Director Porsche Peña, has set a shining example for all of us. Absolutely. Their outstanding performance in luncheon meeting attendance, attendance in service projects, and recruitment is truly commendable. We can all draw inspiration from dedication and commitment. The bar has been set high, but let it motivate us all to strive for excellence in our respective clusters. We must also acknowledge the incredible fellowship efforts of Cluster 4, guided by Director Johnny Young and Director Julian, who led with an impressive score of 11 points. Cluster 5, under the leadership of Director Brian and P.E. Keith, is not far behind. Let us applaud this cluster for their unwavering commitment to fostering fellowship within our club. Our partnership with Rex Bookstore Inc. has breathed new life into our Books Across the Seas project. The potential to make a significant impact on the lives of young readers is immense. Again, this is something interesting because right before lunch, we were meeting with the son of Ibai Galvez, hopefully another future member of our club. He talked about a lot of projects which are all related also to helping the underprivileged. And one of the projects I thought was quite interesting was the education. So easily donating books, Raf, would be one activity that you can easily put together for you. The potential to make a significant impact on the lives of young readers is immense. However, we cannot do this alone. Again, we call upon each of you to help us extend the reach of this project. If you are aware of schools or libraries in need of these much needed books, please consider partnering with us. A very small donation of 3 pesos from each per book from the requesting parties can provide books to motivate and inspire young minds to develop a love for reading. And I extend my gratitude to the birthday celebrants hosted last Friday's Friday Night Lights, the last chukker of Manila Polo Club. It was an evening filled with song and fellowship, a testament to the strong bonds that unite us as a Rotary family. I think this was organized by PP Louis, right? And also I think Sunny, Director Sunny. Of course, they regaled us with their great singing. Unfortunately, Chito was too shy to belt out a song that night. I eagerly anticipate the next FNL gathering later this month. And I hope to see more members, especially our new ones, join us for a wonderful time of camaraderie. Now, last weekend, our RC Makati bowling team has made us proud by securing a victory. Is that correct? Secured a victory in our first match against RC Rizal West at the district bowling tournament at Makati Cinema Square. I encourage more members to join the tournament next Sunday and show our support as they aim for the gold. Kaya pa ba? Okay. Now, also, please join us for a meaningful and inspiring trip to the Dual Trek Training Center in Canlubang, Laguna on Thursday, October 5th. This visit will encompass a quick tour of the facility, a significant memorandum of agreement signing, and the heartwarming turnover of our support to this program. And what makes this trip even more special is the opportunity to meet hopefully the scholars whose lives will be positively impacted by our assistance. For your convenience, for those who are free, we have organized a carpool which will depart from RCM Clubhouse at 8:30 a.m. In this regard, I want to express my gratitude to Director Rodrigo Segura, DGN Reggie, VP Bimbo, and Paolo for confirming their participation in this tour. I also want to emphasize the importance of broad participation. Encourage all our members to seriously consider joining us on this trip. It's a chance to witness firsthand how Dual Tech transforms lives by providing livelihood opportunities to the marginalized sector. Now, while we regret the cancellation of the eagerly anticipated joint meeting between RC Manila and RC Makati, originally scheduled for October 10 due to unforeseen commitments of our esteemed guest speaker, RIPE Stephanie Urchik, we've swiftly organized an exciting alternative. I invite you all to join us on October 12 at 12 noon at the Manila Polo Club. We are honored to announce that DTI Secretary, our fellow member, Secretary Fred Pascual, will be our esteemed guest of honor and speaker. This is going to be a joint meeting again with the RC Manila. Promises to be an informative and engaging gathering, and I hope you will join us to make it a memorable occasion. Also, I think we should again remind members who may wish to join us for the trip to Taiwan, which is scheduled on November 4. We still have time. So right now, by our last count, I think we've easily about 10 already. So it's going to be fun there. Taiwan is just a short trip. So join us if you can. Then finally, it is with heavy hearts that we bid farewell to a beloved member and past president, Ricardo Rick Librea, who passed away on the night of September 29th. PP Rick was an integral part of our club, having joined in 1985 and served as president in our Rotary year 1996 to 1997. His tenure was marked by outstanding leadership and unwavering dedication. In recognition of his exceptional contributions, PP Rick was honored by the district with its most coveted twin awards, the most outstanding club and president overall at the end of his term. Again, enjoin you to come together with us to pay our final respects at the Memorial Mass hosted by our club tonight, 6 p.m. at Chapel C of Christ the King in Green Meadows. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Ping. Next up, to introduce our speaker, may I call on Rotarian Paulo Turno.
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians and guests. Um, I'm honored to introduce our guest speaker for today. She is a pioneering digital economies ecosystem builder in ASEAN, and, and she is also the convener of Digital Pilipinas, which aims to make Philippines the global leader in the digital economy. She is likewise the convener of Digital ASEAN, which aims to promote digital cooperation and integration in the ASEAN region. And also, she's the convener of the Philippine Festival. Fintech Festival. Moreover, she is also the co-founder of the One ASEAN Fintech Movement in Garcia, Maclang, a leading communications public relations company in the technology space, which she has called her 23-year-old startup. In 2000, Amor co-founded Garcia Maclang under her leadership. The company has become one of the leading communications and public relations firms in the technology space. Garcia Maclang has worked with a wide range of clients, including startups, multinational corporations, and government agencies. But she's really here today because she is a passionate advocate for financial inclusion and digital literacy. In 2022, Amor was named the first Filipina to win the Global FinTech Leadership Awards at the Singapore FinTech Festival. She was recognized for her contributions to the development of the fintech ecosystem in the Philippines and ASEAN region. She's been a leading advocate of connecting the ASEAN digital economies with active programs in Africa, Europe, BRICS, Central Asia, the United Kingdom, Japan, and Hong Kong. She has recently been appointed to partnerships for the leading educational arm for fintech, the Global FinTech Institute in Singapore, and the G100 Global Chair for Digital Economies and Literacy. Fellow Rotarians and guests, please join me in welcoming Ms. Amor Maclang.
Oh, friends and batchmates actually make you sound more important than you truly are. Thank you so much for the kind introduction. How come you failed to mention the fact that we were batchmates? Huh? So, thank you, everyone. And when I walked in and I saw so many familiar faces, I felt like I was walking into a family gathering. I saw, of course, the Richard Gere of the business community, Mr. Charlie Rufino, who I have to say, yes, that's what I do to mentors. I love roasting and embarrassing them, but truly, I have to do a special call out. It's not even part of the script, but together with Raymond, they gave me one of my earliest breaks, especially in this digital journey. The first ever prop tech hackathon in the Philippines was done together with the Urban Land Institute. And from my work, obscure work in communications, it was actually Raymond that plucked me and brought me to his work in real estate. Now, this journey is interesting because I want to tell you about the story of our country. And our story, not just as a market for technologies, but rather as a driver of the global digital economies agenda. So with that in mind, allow me to just tell you very briefly about what this movement is, Digital Pilipinas, and how it started from 2013, together with the support of the father of the fintech industry. He's not here, but I always do a shout out to Dr. Tito Ortiz, the former chair of Union Bank, who ushered in this journey of digitalizing what is probably one of the toughest legacy industries in the country, which is banking. Now, I always start with that story because if the banking industry can do it, so can you, right? If the bankers can do it, so can you. And I'll tell you something. So my name is Amor Maclang. And when I was when my parents sent me to Ateneo, I'm sure they did not envision that what the jury's out. I graduated from Ateneo, but the jury's out. I'm sure they did not envision or hope that I would one day call myself a digital ecosystem builder. 47 years ago, that designation probably wouldn't even have existed. But same as new jobs like data analysts or community manager, right? There has been an entirely new economy that I hope to be able to usher you into. Because we are not just number one in Pornhub usage in the world. Oh my God, President Matoto, please don't smile too much. Yes, they don't know. You know, the ones who are the most vehement probably are the most guilty. But seriously, guys, right? So if the shoe fits, if the shoe fits, if the shoe fits, don't you know Louis' daughter? Patay, patay. So I'm Mr. Andy Manyalak. I know he's a member here. And also, I don't know if Secretary Pascual, who apparently is a member, is watching right now. Maraming salamat. But it's true. If there's only one thing I want you to take away from this afternoon, is the fact that the Philippines is leading on many fronts. And that's why I want you to be part of this Digital Pilipinas movement. Okay? It seems to boggle your mind, right? Given the fact that new numbers state that the average IQ of Filipinos apparently is 81 to 87. Yes, 81 to 87. I just barely made it, right? Yes, I just barely made. I scratched. But now that I'm here amongst captains of industry in a very relaxed moment, kidding and laughing, it reminds me of why we have technology in the first place. And I took notes. I love what you said. What was it? What is the four-way test? Is it the truth? So let me tell you, we're no different from using the blockchain. As you know, the blockchain is intended. You know what it is? When I first heard the co-founder of Consensus, he said, the blockchain is basically a series of immutable truths, immutable, unchanging. So basically, Rotary is like the blockchain. Second, fair to all. Yan, nakinig ako, ha? Fair to all. What does it mean? In the tech space, we work in terms of anonymized data. So for example, you don't have to go to a bank. You don't have to submit your income statement. Just based on the data or the usage of your cell phone, or even whether or not your cell phone is charged. Why don't you take a look at whoever's beside you? If they are fully charged, they usually have a credit score, a higher credit score. If it's usually drained, don't lend to them. I kid you not. I'm not making it up. This is data. So I don't need to know who you are, but I can already create a fair assessment of whether I should give you loans or not. If you all the more. Actually, good point. Because the Philippines actually has more mobile phone subscriptions than there are people. We have 168. We are a physiologic aberration. 168 million mobile phones, over 115 million population. So every time a Filipino is born, they're born with a mobile phone. But that makes us more formidable than, say, in Indonesia. At 270 million people, they only have 70 million digitally active mobile phones. So, and yet how come we're losing to Indonesia? Now, better friendship. Social media, right? Forget the fact that we are the social media capital of the world, blah, 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 blah. Used to be texting, now social media. Yes, I mentioned to you Pornhub, but it's not just that. We are also the digital assets capital, one of the top three. I was just mentioning to Mr. Rufino that after Vietnam, we are number two in terms of crypto use. And after us is Nigeria. After us is Nigeria. I know you're saying, Amor, come on, that's not a very high bar. You'll be surprised because actually we are redefining how wealth is actually seen. Used to be tulips, used to be salt, used to be gold, still is gold, used to be fiat, used to be money. But now there's an entirely new ecosystem of what they call gigsters and gamers who make money based on crypto, but despite all their money, they couldn't even get a bank loan. Where is the fairness in that? Better friendship and beneficial to all. Used to be, if you needed to raise money, and I'm sure many of the captains of industry here would know, where would you go if you needed to raise money? You needed to go to an intermediary like a bank, right? Beg and grovel and submit documents and basically just say, give me money, or you go to the capital market to raise money. But what if I told you that you could actually go online, post what it is that you want to raise funds for, and easily make no more than 5 million US dollars in crowdfunding. 5 million US dollars. Without having to go through third-party intermediaries. And these are all legitimate, okay? I'm not talking about anything in the gray market. These are all regulated. Now, my intention today is to find a way to potentially work with some of you, the organization, given the fact that you guys are the bastions and the guardians of industry. You truly are. And if there was something that Tito taught me, he said to me, Amor, as you take this digitalization journey, no, that's not the one. That's not the one. Sorry, can you go back to the original presentation? That was the correct presentation. Thank you. If there's something he taught me, he said, start with the captains of industry. And that is precisely what we did in Digital Pilipinas. Digital Pilipinas is now the largest private sector-led movement for causing digitalization in 12 key industries. We've found the ultimate expression of all that we do in the communication space in this advocacy, whether it's legislative advocacy, risk issues and management, because you know, one of our long-standing partners, Angkas. How many of you guys have taken Angkas? I'm sure none of you. I'm sure none of you, right? Sorry, your Harley Davidson does not count, huh? It doesn't count. But basically, do you know that technically Angkas, from being a technically illegal application from 7 years ago, now it's one of the most well-loved apps in the Philippines, most downloaded. And now, I started with them with risk issues and crisis, and now they're fully funded. Fully funded. Incredible. Incredible. I say this because technically they're illegal. Because there are no governing laws and regulations for two-wheel drives. Because if you check out the law, you know what a two-wheel drive means? A horse-drawn carriage. Yes, a kalesa. That's what the law says. So my question to you is, if something is not legislated, does it mean it's illegal? You don't have to answer. So we operate in those gray spaces where innovation and technology and regulation cannot seem to be side by side because it never will be. But then we have innovative gentlemen here, like the Rufino family. Very few people know, for example, am I correct? I think it was when Raymond came back, MIT, right? No, not MIT. Huh? Columbia. He was super low-key about it. it was actually when the sustainability movement in the real estate sector started. It was when, for example, Tito Ortiz decided that he's going to, you know what, embrace the rogue fintechs. Rogue fintechs. Much to the consternation of most banks. Itago na lamang natin sa pangalang BDO. It was when, at that time, when they said digital assets could be real world assets. By the way, if you know him, congratulate the bank or anyone in the bank because they just received their VASP license, which is basically a virtual asset license. A bank holding virtual assets. I say this because real estate, for example, real estate suffers from so much friction. It does, right? You can't raise money, you can't move money. It's cumbersome. But when you have technologies like blockchain or crowdsourcing that allow you to do so, I don't understand basically why you don't take it on. And please don't tell me I'm too old for it. That's not true. Or please don't tell me it's too expensive. Because the thing about digitalization that we will prove to you is everyone can bootstrap their way to digitalization. You don't have to be fully digital to be truly digital. Now, I want you to pay attention to our leadership role in ASEAN. Just between three countries, Indonesia, Philippines, and Vietnam, we are nearly 500 million of the world's population. Can you imagine? And 40% of which is Muslim. Do you have a halal strategy? Can you imagine? We are launching, together with the Digital Pilipinas Festival, multiple other festivals that are driven by market leaders. So one of them is actually the Philippine Halal Digital Economy Festival. $3 falling through the cracks just because we have not recognized that 1 in 3 of our Muslim brethren can contribute positively. But I have news for you. Do you know that Thailand, which only has 5% of a Muslim population, is making $6 billion in just exports? So actually, our message is, you as a non-Muslim can actually make money in this economy. By 2030, so last June, I led a group of technologists, and we're very grateful. We had an audience with Prime Minister Rishi Sunak in 10 Downing. And basically, the UK wants us to see the reason why they're focusing on the Indo-Pacific is 2030, 40% of the world's economy will be in our region. In our region. Last May, Last May, I was in Moscow. Last August, I spoke in BRICS. BRICS just basically mentioned, so another reason for you, Mr. Rufino, to go to Africa. They just welcomed Ethiopia, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE as new members of the BRICS community. So on one side, you have ASEAN, where we could play a leadership role, and in another region, probably you've never even paid attention to. There is a Ghanaian delegation right now. And how many of you guys have actually paid attention to Nigeria or to Ghana as a possible trading partner? Or even Kenya, that invented e-money called the M-Pesa. Pero actually, nauna ang GCash when it was still under TG Limcalco. They were the ones who put it together. Are you paying attention to that? Last June, we signed a partnership agreement with the Africa FinTech Network in Kigali. No, keep it, guys, keep it. Keep it, don't move it. There, just keep it there. And basically, that's 1.4 billion people, and we are 600 million. So between the two of us, we said, we're not going to be a market anymore of other people's technology. We're going to drive the narrative, which is pretty bold, hairy, and audacious for a little brown Filipina like me, who scored primarily C minus in math, and I had to take it twice in Ateneo. But in ASEAN, we can be a leader if we so choose to. And yeah, political science kasi walang masyadong math. Merong math pa rin. Now, let me explain to you guys how to make money in the ASEAN economy. Would you like that? I'll try to show you the money, right? Although probably you don't, I'll try to show you more money, although you probably don't need it. Because actually the problem of those who have money is how to move it, right? So, first things first, esports and gaming. My goodness, I'm actually flying to Kazan. Does anyone know where Kazan is? Thank you very much. For the biggest digital game festival in the world representing the Philippines. You know what digital means? Physical and digital. So let me backtrack a bit. Recently, if you saw the posting of TG Limcalco, they had an all-time high for their stock prices during their shareholders meeting. And the one word that was in his post was, their strategy was digital. Imagine. So that's the first. Hopefully I have 8 things and you will walk away even far filthy richer than when you first walked in. Digital basically is, who here plays Nintendo or your kids play Nintendo? Or for example, a kiosk. You understand what a kiosk is. You have a physical and then it registers onto the digital. Now, the language of banking is transported to the language of gaming. Yes. Basically, the philosophy now is I play 3x3 basketball on a computer screen, and then I can go to an actual court and play it, but with bells and whistles, meaning it can track my movement and actually how I score. Digital. Banks are doing it, and so is esports. Are you? Banks. Now, I had a very controversial talk with the bankers. When was it? WFIS, September. Because I said, just because you don't talk about regulated gaming. Anong regulated gaming? Come on, let's say it. It's gambling, right? Just because you say it, just because you don't talk about it, doesn't mean that they cannot be a positive contributor to the economy. I remember our journey in 2017 with blockchain, when it was either good or bad actors, right? It's true, there were scammers in the space, there still are, but those who chose to walk under the light and be regulated exist to this day. What are those? Coins.ph, that holds both physical and digital assets, and also at the same time, a PDAX. PDAX has been invested into by Union Bank. So you can trade and do an exchange of virtual assets. But how come we are not allowing the regulated gaming sector to equally walk under the light? They want to be regulated. You've all heard of the phenomenal numbers of Atong Ang's Isabong, right? 3 billion pesos every day. And that's just the trading in the north. Because meron pang iba sa south going through a wallet formally. But the thing is, why is it a taboo? They could be a positive contributor to the economy, but then why aren't we, as captains of industry, working with them to guide them into the light? How many of you or your wives or your children love to shop? So whenever I do talks, I say, you know what? We in ASEAN, we don't just love to play, we love to shop. When was the last time you bought something in Lazada? This morning. Ako last night. How many of you have done an e-commerce transaction in the past 24 hours? Please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. Wow. How super high-tech this super high-tech this table. E-commerce is actually the mother or father of fintech in the Philippines because it is what started off the payments revolution. Dragon Pay, I don't know if you know Dick Chang, has actually ushered in this payment revolution. And e-commerce also gave rise to last mile logistics, buy now, pay later, right? What else? And many other permutations. SME as an asset class. Many of the banks still continue to support big corporations, but I'll tell you, you cannot be a serious player in the digital economy without recognizing SMEs as an asset class. Close to 95% of all businesses actually are SMEs, and yet, do you provide access to credit for them? Or do you have products and services that serve this particular segment? Or are you still primarily focusing on the big 1,000 corporations that you probably represent? We talked earlier about blockchain and tokenization. And the jury's out regarding that. Have you guys ever heard of YGG or Axie Infinity? Yes. Nakita ko kanina si Sir Charlie. Now, I saw 3 heads nodding, but I'll tell you something. Do you know that at the height of the pandemic, there were wives in the poorest areas in the Philippines who actually made close to $1,500 every month just playing games. I kid you not. I kid you not. This is an actual fact. Of course, things have gone down because the price of crypto has gone down. And primarily, it has gone down not because it is illegal or wrong, but because it lacks governance and regulation. Last 3, gig economy. Do you know that the gig economy in the Philippines is probably one of the most underrepresented at 2 million documented creators? I just saw on my Forbes Instagram feed that there is a content creator. He is 13 years old. 13 years old. He receives 3 billion views. That's B to U, billion. Probably more than Lady Gaga or Beyonce or Elton John, whoever you like, or Mick Jagger. You know what? This kid started doing unboxing. You know what he's doing in front of a YouTube camera? Is unboxing toys and talking about how amazing those toys are. 3 billion views, and he makes close to 8 figures in US dollars just from Google AdSense because of come on guys, what is the production cost of actually coming up with an unboxing video? You have a camera just like what you have here, and then you're saying, oh my God, look at my Barbie doll, but it's not Barbie. I'm dating myself, right? 8 figures in AdSense, Google AdSense. Are you working with them? Do you have a strategy to tap that market? Now, we are about to launch a program called Culture Tech, which is a spin-off of FinTech, which basically uses blockchain technology to protect, preserve, and promote traditional e-cut or weeds so that every time you use it, you actually get to pay. But that very same technology you can use to protect, for example, your contracts or your land titles, or if you're a lawyer, I know we have a couple of fine lawyers, fine young lawyers in the room. All the pleadings that you've written, once they're invoked, if they're on the blockchain, you can make money out of it ad infinitum. Imagine? I know you don't need more money, but I thought I would tell you just the same. Pang kape, pang Peninsula. Halal economy. 1 in 3 Filipinos are Muslim. And yet many businesses here do not have a halal strategy. I sit in the DTI task force for the halal economy. And guess what? I'm the only non-Muslim. More of you should care about the halal economy because you're losing out on Brazil. You're losing out on Australia. You're losing out on these countries who, because they recognize the bigness of this economy, they export, they do import and exporting to markets that do halal. Because the Muslim community is actually the fastest growing community. It is. Actually, I think I should do PR for the Catholic Church because the numbers are going down. Last but not the least is probably what many of you know me for is fintech. So the largest fintech in the world is actually ASEAN. I recently, last January, actually, I sat down with a Switzerland global enterprise. I sit as a private sector representative of the Joint Economic Commission, and I said to a couple of bankers, who I'm sure did not get a C- in math. I said, the fact that you're the best, you have the best banking institutions, but of course, this was before Credit Suisse happened, right? And the fact that we are the most unbanked makes us the best market for fintech. What is basically fintech? How do we take traditional payments and apply technology so it can scale? So you can touch more people. And at the end of the day, that's what technology needs to do. It needs to scale, to touch more people outside and beyond the people in this room. Don't get me wrong. When I heard that some of you have actually been attending the lunches for straight 44 years, it's so heartwarming and it's so different from the universe I'm so used to. But at the same time, there is a totally different universe that needs to touch more people. Now, I just want to, before I close, next slide, please. I want to show you a little bit about what we do in Digital Philippines. Next slide. Next. So, love the name or hate the name, love it or hate it, we're still grateful for the fact that this is probably the first ever regime. No. Masyadong trigger happy yung ano natin. Could you go back to that? So this is the first time that we have a president that actually takes digitalization seriously. Do you know that we recently launched, this is actually a program we had in Malacanang last June, wherein the president and the DICT secretary recognized the private sector partners helping in the digitalization efforts. Digitalization is not about fintech. It's about touching every single vertical from water. A gentleman talked about water, which we call blue technologies. Climate. On Monday, We're receiving a fund out of Thailand that just purely invests in climate. Climate. So it's not a startup related to payments or wallets or e-commerce. They only support those that are doing climate intervention. And in this regime, do you know that we recently launched the eGov Super App? It's basically the tech backbone of the country, and every one of you have the opportunity to plug in. So whether it's retail, right? In the case of Wilcon, if you want to be plugged into the supply chain, or if you want a land registry to be digitalized, the future is here to be able to work closely with government. Nako, daming tumataas ang kilay. And I'll tell you, the era where private sector keeps to themselves and does not interact with government is over. Because if you do not proactively engage government, you will find yourself at the losing end of the bargain. Because I'll tell you, a competitor of yours will try to trigger some issue or controversy. And I'll tell you something, innovation and technology is the best way to engage government. Because universally, so all of you, that water innovation that you have, prop tech, I don't know, I'm sure many others here are very innovative. Quickly, next slide. There. So we are the largest private sector-led movement because we work and support many of the leading companies, financial institutions, and governments, both in the Philippines and ASEAN. So if you tell me, Amor, I can't digitalize because it's so expensive to do that. No. Join us and we'll plug you into the ecosystem. I'll tell you a great story. Next slide. Of the insurance industry. So we have 12 industries that we support. We've managed, next slide, to digitalize and work on 3. Naku, bakit walang picture? The first is, of course, fintech. And this is probably our oldest pillar of 7 years. The next one we did 3 years ago was the PropTech Consortium of the Philippines. And the most recent one is the InsurTech, insurance and technology, right? Sabi nga nila, Amor, ano yung LinTech? Ko wala akong ganun. So fintech is financial technologies, PropTech is real estate and technologies, InsurTech is insurance and technologies. Anyone here in the insurance industry? When was the last time you bought insurance? Any of you? $100 million covers, they don't count. I'm talking about just even little things, right? Transport insurance and such. There you go. Very good, sir. You probably bought insurance without you knowing that you did. Because if you shopped, the insurance is already embedded. Embedded. So I say this because one of our conveners, Etika, probably you may or may not know Etika, but by working in an ecosystem, they're not fully digital the way, say, a Prudential would be, but by working in the ecosystem, they sold 12 million new policies over 10 months digitally without an agent. Next slide. So what do we do in each of these industries? Number one, we help you come up with a roadmap. Second, could you go back? Sorry. The second is we also have you work with the government proactively and the regulators. So you just don't talk to government when you have a problem. You have to be proactive in helping design the digital agenda with your industry. Because if you don't, then you will find someone else defining the rules for you. And if you're a market leader and it's defined for you by a young startup, then it sucks to be you. The third thing that we do is actually education. How do we educate the market and your constituency about technologies and cybersecurity or blockchain or whatever? And last is actually proof of concept. At the end of the day, it's hashtag show me the money, right? So it can't just be about talk. I find talk to be cheap. So you need to be creating programs and pilots at no cost. So if anyone tells you, for example, that you need to buy an expensive software or you need to have an app bespoke for you, close the door on these people. They're snake oil merchants because everything you need is available and it's free. And it's probably been made by someone else and you can partner with them. So that's why we are ecosystem builders, because it's all about bringing together people who have the same needs. In closing, next slide. So this is basic. There, I talked to you about the importance of working with government. Do not be. I know, but you'll say to me, for example, Amor, I'm a multinational, publicly listed company, and we have ABAC rules. You know what ABAC is, right? Anti-bribery and corruption. But guys, it's different. For example, the logistics sector. One of our important conveners is the TDG group. And you know what they said to me? The CEO said, Amor, do you know that we have rules that do not allow us to talk to competitors? That's so incredulous to me. Apparently, because if you talk to your competitors, the only thing you talk about is colluding. So that's how the law is framed. But proactively, you need to actually work and talk to your competitors to come up with solutions that benefit your industry. And that's what we do. Last, you cannot be digital unless you're cross-border. Yes. Ito baka mahalaga. This October, I'd like to invite all of you, because together with the DILG, the Department of Interior and Local Government, and the NCPAG, which is National College of Public Administration of UP, mind you, not Ateneo, UP. Anyone from UP here? Wala? Yon, UP, dalawa. I always say I probably would have turned out to be a better person if I graduated from UP. Yes. We are working with them on what? I'm super excited about this project, the digitalization of the local government code. I remember I graduated from high school in 1992, and I remember two important things happening that year. The rejection of the US basis. I don't know if any of you were old enough to remember, but that was such a searing moment in my life, right? Along with the death of Yitzhak Rabin in 1995. I don't know. My God, it must have been the S-26 exams. They were so weird. But the other thing that happened in 1992 was the fact that we recognized that the Philippines is technically, I'm going to use the F word, federally oriented. But we're all afraid to use the F word, right? We're sweeping it under the rug. But the landmark local government code of Senator Nene Pimentel was passed in 1992. 20 plus 5 years after, it is my honor to be working with Dr. Alex Brillantes of UP, who was part of the team that wrote it. And now we're updating 5 areas of the local government. And we will be launching it in our UN Mayors Forum on the 26th and the 27th. And I'd love for you guys to be there. We're forming a consortium of private sector who care, who would like to see all of your programs implemented at the local government. So we're working on 5 things. Sustainable finance and procurement. Why? Because we know that the COA is probably the bane of any innovative local government chief executive or national line agency. Not because the COA means to, but because our procurement laws are designed for an old era that probably don't even know what ride hailing or a shared economy is. The second, disaster, not just resilience, but adaptiveness. The third is SME digitalization on the agri-agro and agri-fishery side. So no, we don't need more real estate tycoons. We don't. We need more tycoons coming from the agri-agro and agri-fishery sector. I'm very proud to tell you, so aside from the hackathon that we did with the Urban Land Institute a few years back, I did an agri-hackathon together with Union Bank. And at that time, this was in 2018, and I did not know if we succeeded. I've always had self-doubt. Up until I met Yusek Leia Buhain of the DOST, who said, Amor, we funded that particular startup that won. And basically the startup is an agri-fishery startup that checks the pH balance of palaisdaan, of the hipon in a palaisdaan. Imagine. And now they've scaled in ASEAN. Social services such as health is devolved. And last but not the least, transport, mobility, and logistics. So now, aside from fintech, so guys, thank you for all the tech accolades, but now we are also working on other industries, creating an ecosystem for EVs. Oh, how many of you guys, SUV nyo, gas guzzler pa rin? Ha? Patay, nangiti, gas guzzler. The new status is no longer having a Bugatti. It is having a vehicle that's sustainable and probably is electric. That's the new sexy. So if you want to be sexy, be in technology. And on that note, thank you for being an incredible audience. I hope you took a few things away. And please, join us in the Philippine FinTech Festival to show it. It's happening November 20 to 24, which is also at the same time the Philippine Startup Week. And we're also having the Philippine Halal Festival. We're also launching a couple of others. And I really wanted to do a Philippine PropTech Festival. So maybe seeing you, Charlie, right now is a sign. Maraming salamat po. God bless you all for all you do for the country. Sorry, it took a while. But so engaged. You're such a great audience.
Thank you, Amor, for giving us a broad view of the digital ecosystem. And with that, I would like to open the floor for questions from our audience. Okay, perhaps I'll ask this question from Chris Ferrareza. This is his question. By the way, Chris is online. So, what is your view on the recent hacking of the PhilHealth database, which compromised members' personal and probably even sensitive personal information? How can the government address the issue on the cybersecurity of the country in recent days? It's mostly government institutions that are being penetrated by hackers.
So first and foremost is I need you to think of three concepts when you think about breaches. It's not cybersecurity I want you to look at. It's the idea of trust technologies. There are three aspects to it. Reg tech, meaning I own my data. I hold my data. And do you know, guys, that you currently don't own your data? If you needed to get a bank statement from a bank, don't they charge you for it? They charge you, right? For it. Is that you owning your data? The second thing you need to look at is cybersecurity. How is your perimeter, your home? Ano ba yung sa inyo? ADT. Di ba? Sa bahay, it's ADT. The perimeter around your home. And then, more importantly, there is such a thing as GovTech, which is protecting the governmental infrastructure. Now, all those three things have to line up in a whole of country and a whole of nation approach. Interesting that you mentioned that because last July 28, together with our lead convener, Mr. TG Limcalco of the BPI, we launched a whole of nation campaign on Trust Tech. together with the PNP, together with the NBI, together with other institutions. Because if there is a breach, you can't just say, that's the fault of a bank or that's the fault of the PSA, for example. Because we all have a responsibility towards keeping our guards safe, right? So I know it's not a very satisfactory answer, but the issue in cybersecurity, by the way, it's cybersecurity month, this October. And the problem is we think of cybersecurity in silos. Cybersecure ka, yung banko mo cybersecure, your group is cybersecure. I don't care about everyone else. We cannot have that mindset. It's like COVID. It's like COVID. If one is sick, everyone could get sick. So, does it make sense? Hope it. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So given the time constraint of our
Sorry, I talked too much. It's my curse.
first speaker, I believe Miss Amor has to leave by in a few minutes. I'd like to give our President Bing some time to respond.
Amor, thank you very much for your presentation. Can I ask a question? Do we have enough time? No, for a question. My own experience with, for example, you talk about the e-gov. I think it's a very common refrain now that any communication with government agencies somehow connecting through the internet is almost an impossible task. It's either overloaded or whatnot. You can't connect, no. So I guess that sort of runs counter to what obviously we all need. I mean, there's no question we need to go digital, but it seems that somehow government is also perhaps not totally in there yet in terms of infrastructure. If you were to put a number from 1 to 10 of where our government is in terms of readiness to be able to really accommodate all these digital advances, where would that be?
For putting me on the spot, sir. No, but like I said, I've not been through all governments. I've been probably more active in 3 or 4. But this is the first time that we've had a government that has an actual digitalization program. And I'll tell you another thing. In Indonesia, the practice is you take a unicorn like a Gojek founder and put them in government to advise the government. We have something similar. Yusek David Almirol is actually one of the most successful technology players. And he divested from Multisys to be able to serve government, right? So this eGov super app for me, from a tech perspective, it just launched last June. And you probably haven't felt the benefits yet because this is how it works. You have a main line that the government will create. And then what it needs now is for the private sector and the various national line agencies to plug in to the eGov super app. Now, the levels of digitalization of companies, of communities, and of organizations and national line agencies vary. But they're prioritizing what's most important. So please, if you guys are available on Friday, Thursday, I'd love to have you as our guest. We have an eGov. Oh my God, it's in Asbury. Actually, all of my tech events are in Asbury. See? Ask Sir, right? Oh, I am privileged to say that the first time Mr. Charlie Rufino ever went to Poblacion was with me. And now he's got this incredible space in Poblacion where we all like to hang out. And you know what we do? Don't tell Peninsula, baka they'll ban me. All of us in the tech industry, we don't like. You know what we say? We go to places that are gritty with no parking, where we'll sweat and talk and get close to each other. So for me, this is a really different thing. Anyway, going back to your question. What grade would I give? Sorry, I have ADHD to boot. What grade would I give the government, given the fact that it's only been in office under 2 years? I would have to say, given that they have a plan and they're activating the private sector, around maybe 8. Because in year 3, 4, and 5, you will see, guys, yung national ID natin, it's so important. because it's basically, it's not just knowing who you are, it's you owning your data. India has surpassed us. I was speaking to the Indian ambassador, Ambassador Sham. My God, one of the most brilliant, geekiest ambassadors I've ever met. They have this framework called the Digital Locker Authority, where technically all of you can deposit your private information and any bank can plug into it and say, you know what? Without you applying, I'll give you an automatic loan of 5 million pesos just because your data said so. Is that your experience with credit right now? Or do they make you beg and grovel? Right? So, yon. Thanks.
Okay, so any other, Bom, we run out of time or?
Yeah.
Unity. Because actually, I just accepted because I saw your email and it said Rural Bank. I even didn't read that it was Rotary. I'm sorry. It just said that it was Rural Bank. And I said, make it happen. I'm actually not available today, but I said, make it happen. Because I was thinking I was going to talk to a bunch of rural banks. But I didn't realize I was going to talk to captains of industry who actually probably hold a big chunk of the GDP of Makati. So I think there's always a reason for why things happen. And it's because you need to start digitalizing your industry. And please don't tell me, "Oh, I'm too old for that." When Tito Ortiz started this, he was retired, past 60. And don't tell me I'm not fully digital. If a bank could do it, smaller banks could do it, so could you. And if you say, you know what, don't give me excuses. It's expensive. All the technology that you need is out there and people are just waiting to part. So my little gift to all of you, and thank you for that. Then I saw Pa Charlie, so it's a sign. And then I saw Pa, the daddy of Katya, right? One of my best team members. I don't know who I can coordinate with, but I'd like to give a ticket to all the members of good standing. So please update your membership dues. Each ticket is $400 because it's an international ASEAN event. And I'm going to give a ticket at no cost to all the members of good standing of Rotary Club Makati. Just because he gave me my first break, Mr. Rafino, and just because your daughter was one of the best, because one way or another, you all contributed to this journey. And of course, I have a classmate here. So thank all of them. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much again.
Okay,
I just want to also mention to you that actually, I don't know if you know much about our club beyond Charlie or Louis or Paolo, but we do have a bunch of people here quite involved actually in things that you've been talking about. For example, Bong, if you know, spearheaded the Hatch project of our club, which basically is encouraging proponents of digital applications, where we conducted a nationwide contest where in fact entries came in, and our next step right now is to see how we could in fact help them, give them a leg up. The other thing that you should be aware of is that right now we're almost completing what we call a creativity center in our premises. It's a separate building. And well, perhaps you could also give us some insight as to what would be possible application or utilization of that facility. It's not really meant for us to make money, but just maybe to cover costs. But it's meant to encourage entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs who these ideas to be able to promote digital applications that could be of use. No? So, if you could spend time or have one of your staff to chat with us and explore. Sure. Yeah, and literacy, for example, we're doing a lot of. Earlier, I mentioned the fact that we're giving away books. Of course, that's not digital, but it would be great if it could be digitized. I don't know if there's some way where your organization can help digitize the books that we have that we could help distribute to. Sure. So again, there are a lot of stuff. You talk about SMEs. digital financing. Yes, we've been trying to explore that. Quite a few of us are, of course, in the finance field. I mean, very much in the finance field. Used to be with BPI and with PG. And clearly, SME financing would be the way to go. So again, I'm not too sure exactly what your association or your group can provide, but we'd be happy as a club to sit down and find out what concrete steps can we do, because I'm sure there'll be some stuff that we could work on. Okay, so
We have a couple of events happening this week, and feel free. So let me just give you a quick rundown so we can talk further, just to give you an idea of what we do. Tomorrow, we're going to be in, where is it? Asbury. Okay, I'm not trying to promote Charlie's venues. In Asbury, but there's such a big supporter. It's in Poblacion. We're going to be hearing the download on ASEAN and digital economy. So you get to hear Angkas, many of the fintechs there, etc. The lunch is not this resplendent, but we're startups. So, and on Thursday, we're talking about the ASEAN, going and delving into the mind of the investor. I think I should invite Mr. Rufino there. So you get to talk to investors like Foxmont, Creador, National Development Corporation, YOLO Investments, even the most low-key investments. What are they looking for? I know you're not looking for money, but I'm sure you want to network and connect with other like-minded investors who are investing in tech. No, the other one is closed door. That is with Ayala Corp. So we're gonna have an innovation event, but on Monday is going to be our cybersecurity kickoff in the DICT. So if any of you are from Quezon City, which I doubt, because I think we're all from Makati here, please do join us. So we have a lot of events, and then please do join us for the festival.
thank you very much. And with that, unless there are any other questions, we'd like to thank you again for your. Sure, we will. Before we do that, can we give you? Okay, first, well, this gives you an example of what we're trying to do regarding environment. As you can see, your name is there in that small plaque. We have this reef bud project where we, in fact, try to plant reef buds in various areas of the country where trying to regenerate coral reef.
And get people to actually, much like what we have to do, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Is it parang mangrove? No.
Well, these are shores, for example, the coral reef is in abundance. All of a sudden. Anyway, that's going to be put in one of those reef buds, and that's going to be, as it goes down, and you'll be there, immortalized. And okay, this one, a bit too heavy. This gives you a better idea of the Rotary Club's history. That's 55. Now we're on our 57th, right? Year, no? And then finally, while you're going through that book, we're giving you this bottle of wine. Bottle of wine. I don't know whether your diet allows you to take a bottle of wine. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Unless there are questions, I'd like to adjourn the meeting already. Thank you.